to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary, a roll call.
Keith Guidry,
Here.
Ronald Holly,
Here.
Roland Curall,
Here.
Mitch Downs,
Here.
Brett DeVoe,
Here.
Roland Guidry,
Here.
Brian Marks,
Here.
McNeely Rome,
Here.
Monty Vegas.
Here.
Mr. President, ready to vote?
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, you've been presented the meeting from October 12th. Motion by Monty accepts, second by Mr. Ronald. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, on my report, again, we had the ALBL conference in New Orleans, November 30th, 29th to the 30th. Make sure you got everything clear with Mary and Amy. And that's all I had to report on. Executive Committee, Mr. Ronald.
The Executive Committee met Monday on November the 7th. All members were present. We reviewed the latest financial reports, and we discussed the growing inflation and the option to give a one-time cost of living allowance for the year 2023 to the South Lafourche levee districts to help offset raising costs. After reviewing options, the Executive Committee agreed to recommend to give a one-time allowance to each full-time South Lafourche levee district member. The amount of allowance would be 7.2% of the employee's 28-23 annual base salary. We recommend to the district to do so. Also, the committee discussed the elevation of the gap, the North D Loop Road, looked at the various options and the cost involved, which is getting to be ridiculous when it's time to do it. The committee reviewed 2 contracts for pre-positioning, debris removal and monitoring. Mr. Curall informed the board that an additional contractor had shown interest in the position of the debris removal. We agreed to take all of it under consideration. And that's it.
We need to approve the motion. Okay, heard the recommendation of our committee chairman. Moved by Monty, second by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, audience comments. Anyone here for the purpose of addressing the board?
Hi, I'm Paula Rome with Intention. I was just here to formally introduce myself. I started about 5 months ago as the local customer service manager. So I went around and gave all of you, I think I caught all of you, maybe I missed a few in front of there, my contact information. So if y'all need anything, feel free to call me. My cell phone is the easiest way to find me any time of the day or night. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you have a question about your bills, call Archie.
Still want to wash your shelves.
Everybody raise their hand.
Oh, you can get anything you want now, right?
Okay, moving on to our general manager report.
President, have anything to say?
You never give a politician a mic.
The politics.
That's right. I haven't been here a while. I just really came to say hi. As you guys know, Wendell and I have been working really closely on a couple of things. One, to give you guys some more funding every year when it comes to pumps and rehab, some of what we do in North Lafourche. And hopefully in March we'll get this tax reform package through that we've been talking about, and with that will open up some extra dollars for the levee district. We've also been working really closely on the lock structure in La Rose. We have some some money that was set aside for that. We do know because of inflation and things rising, we're gonna be off by a little bit. So my hope is that having to go this the window yet, I had a conversation with Joe about it, was looking at our $50 million HMGP allocation that we got for hazard mitigation dollars, and writing about, instead of $5 million, writing $15 million into that plan, coupling it with the money the state has, the money you set aside, to get us up at that $25 million mark that we need to get the project out to bid. So we've submitted that to our consultant, working through the benefit cost analysis process. I'm pretty sure because of the protection it provides, the economic impact for the marine industry, that BCA is going to come back to a very positive level, and we'll be able to fund that through our hazard mitigation program at a much higher level than what we just had allocated in our go basic dollars. It will also let us allocate those Gomesa dollars to some other existing projects. We have an expectation to spend, right? It's bond money. We got to get that money out of the bank, into other people's hands. So by the time I think he's going to be ready to go with permitting and bid documents, we'll be ready to go on the hazard mitigation side. Probably the first quarter of next year is what I'm hoping and anticipating. So we'll be able to make some good progress on that project as well. But as always, Wendell calls when he needs something, and I call him when I need something. But the door's always open, and we appreciate the partnerships.
And we're working together on that environmental project behind Golden Metabolic Chloride. I think that might be something very interesting.
That is. We have some grant applications that she's been, Amanda in our coastal shop's been working pretty hard on. We are embarking on a bigger project in the coastal area. Everybody's looking to the much greener market when we look at carbon sequestration and capture. And we get a lot of, and you hear a lot in the press about the injection wells, right? What's going on in Livingston and St. John, Danville, and Marlboro. We're taking a much different approach to it. We're looking at what can we sequester in the ground, right? With carbon capture in our partnership with Nichols. Ms. Dale Holly with ELOS is here today with us. We've partnered with ELOS and hired ELOS to do some of the environmental components of that project for us. And the plan is to talk to the 6 major landowners in the parish, including the port, and say, look guys, you guys have all this vast acreage that is now open water because of Hurricane Ida, right? If we can entice a private investment, right? You look at people like the Cargo Group that hired just recently the VP of carbon neutrality because they want to get into that carbon game, right? So if we can entice private investment into the coastal zone to build acres of marsh to get carbon capture credits on the back end, right? It frees up what we have to go ask CHIP for at CPRA. It frees up what we have to pony in from local dollars, whether they're CAP dollars back in the day or master plan dollars or whatever else. So we're really excited about that. We plan to have the 6 major landowners come in for a meeting in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's going to give ELOS some time to really get some groundwork done for us. We're again partnering with Nichols at the Coastal Center there. What Dr. Quentin Fontenot was doing with the plant group on the farm, with the Louisiana Native Plant Initiative. So it's going to be hopefully much bigger than what we've been talking about in Golden Meadow. It'll be more of a coastwide, give us a bigger buffer up against the levee system that you guys have worked so hard to build, because that's our biggest fear now, right? Is that the Marshall Untold and Delta Farms, and even on the west side to a certain extent, did all it could to protect us during a hurricane, and we got to put it back. So that's really our next focus when it comes to the environmental side of the house.
I don't want you to talk.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people ask me, I don't know why they think we came up. The boat launch on 24, the canal, and going to Hawaii, is that a parish issue or is it a problem?
So Laura's laughing because we had a meeting this morning. I actually signed, or will sign tomorrow morning, a declaration for a state of emergency because of salinity levels in that area. We've seen a huge shift in the marsh because of the salt water coming in. There's no fresh water coming down. So on the 22nd, we will be accepting bids for an emergency project. There's a dredge grant buy-up from the intercoastal all the way to where Carroll and Levee District left off right before the floodgate, and open that channel back up. The much bigger project is the Grand Bayou freshwater reintroduction project that has been around since I was like in the 7th grade. Ronnie Pye started it years ago through the equipment process. Part of our Gomesa funding, part of the money that CHIP and CPRA has put up is actually going to build a pump station that'll force about 1,000 CFS down Grand Bayou after this is all said and done. So we hope to go out to deal with that project at some point next year once we get through the permitting and environmental stuff. But hopefully within the next 90, 120 days, you'll see that channel open back up and we'll have some fresh water flow. Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, anybody else on this? Okay.
All right, next slide. This is near Yankee Canal. This is where right near pump station number 7 on Yankee Canal. We had some tremendous erosion. We had some tree fall. We tried to get a little more aggressive and put rocks in, not more expensive, but we expect this is done. This little levee, if it ever would break, we'd have serious problems all over the back pastures from Golden Meadow to down there. And so this is how it looks. And we've actually found out in a storm took it out. This is how it looks today. And we're not going to have to move back there for a long, long time. So it costs a lot of money, but it's a permanent solution. Now the job's not finished because the lower Mississippi River didn't allow the rocks to come down. But the water's going up a little bit more in the river. So I knew we'd talk about that a little bit later. That we will get the job line finished. You see that's that corner over here. And we get on the other side. This is some of the debris that we're still dealing with. We got basically off the levee, but still have to push all this vegetation off of the toe of the levee so that we get regular grass growing here. Hopefully we'll have some breakthrough here, and maybe this stuff is gonna turn into maybe making a little ridge line. You know, and get some bushes, maybe even some trees, so that's all good for protecting the inside. You don't want your trees on the levee because of roots, but over here would be perfect, so hopefully that's gonna work out. And we'll see how it just kind of evolves, and if we can move some of this stuff and fill in, we'll take a look at that. But I just this is the amount of stuff, after we burnt a couple of times, burn as much as we could, that's what was still left. Oh, it's a couple of feet, that's 7 feet high. Okay, this is on the A West levee, this new golden meadow, a little bit west of the Catfish Lake. Again, that's the little marsh platform we built out there. This was the containment. Again, this is the overgrowth, but got all the debris off, looking good in that area. This is the spot that we were looking at doing that mitigation, that ridge in the back of Oak Ridge Park. Like I say, we call it the wet park, okay? If we can get it done. The number one thing we want to do is get this oil bank and build it back up again, and maybe even get it big enough to handle some trees, maybe. You know, and that would help protect that corner that we have. Pump station number 1, as you go south, it hits that almost a 90-degree turn. So to keep the water off of that corner. But if we can come in there, think about this, these oil banks were built back in the 1930s. And the reason they've lasted better is because they're closer to the bayou bank, because they're so, to the front. So you want better soils. So we think we can come in there, and the hurricanes help fill up those canals in there. So there's some stuff on all sides, so we think we can do a good bit of improvement with not too big a cost. Eventually, I'd like us to go in and actually make some washes with the little areas where the soil banks can be closed in. Try to make that a special fishing area for kayaks and pirogues. And an area with someone who's not a motorboat, they can still do good fishing, in that area. People, they could hit the hole and the weather hits. Well, this would just be a bigger area, a better area that actually can handle more fish. So we'll see how that works out. But our main goal is to get, this is the anchor of the whole thing. And then if we can do it inexpensively and beneficially, we'll keep expanding it, that whole corner, and try to get that in shape there, both for protection and for recreation. Again, look at it. This is the scary part. Catfish Lake has no edge anymore. Catfish Lake is just totally broken through. And this is now this is going to get west side. This is near Paul Dufresne's farm right here. We're looking now the state as they were doing their work on it. We built the road right here, but you see we got the dirt over here. We got this in good shape, and this is up to 15-foot elevation, and that's north of where Paul's levee intersects. So this is in great shape. Our contractors have done a really good job. Here we're still raising the levee. That was a little gap that we had, but you notice we still have the grass on the outside. We never keep that off. We move the center line a little bit toward the inside so that we don't have to put new material there. This has been compacted for some 15 years with grass. So now put in new stuff, it's already compacted. We just move the center line back. We can just build from the top of the ground this way, and that way you ensure the strongest levee possible. This is some work a little bit further north, and you can see putting on some edge over here. And this is the problem. We're still taking out some debris. I mentioned that this is in that area north of Bully Camp, to Paul's home. And some water staying over here. Now, we're going to see how that evolves. If we can't get the water up, if the dirt is not high enough, we're going to have to come in and maybe bring in some material out here. If it doesn't heal itself on its own, we need grass growing in that area. Give us that buffer for the outside berm. Again, this is another part that they've pretty much finished. We've got this area is probably 18 feet, and you can see the machine. So they pushed a bunch of stuff off of the levee, and now it's taking it and pushing it completely off of the right of way. That's what they're doing right here. But again, the problem here is that we'll see if hopefully this dries off and the grass can grow. If not, we will have to spend some money to get some dirt in there and get it high enough to grow regular grass. Again, this contractor, this is GIS doing their work. It should be finished in not too long, but Here's top levee here, they're gonna finish this, it'll be 18 feet when they finish. Again, the same problem on the outside, that's between that part off. That's another, see, they moved the dirt, it was super steep for the hurricane. We actually had a little bit of a couple of slides, little slides, nothing bigger. Now we're getting the slope right, and here's the old ground, and this will be brought in over the top and get that to about an 18-foot elevation. And this is still pulling dirt from the canal to get it up here to finish that job. And that's some more dirt that's been sitting there a while. Now, this is the word from organic. That's section L. That's coming off of or along the form, the southern part of this form. And now they're going to pass the corner of the form. They've raised that first lift of the form limits up. This was marsh a couple of months ago. It's really amazing what they do. Look at it. You gotta, I thought that was, the Ukraine army colors.
We are in money.
Oh, yeah. But this was marsh. These big machines driving about this marsh just 3 months ago. Yeah, and it's hard to see this, but they have these track tires, they're not regular, they're track, so when they pass, they actually help package it. Yeah, instead of a new tire just short the ruts, this actually builds up. It's costs a little bit more money, but it's real effective. This is some fantastic work that they're doing over here. Now, that was marsh just a few months ago. So it's progressing real well. And then when you look at the form, they're doing two things. They've got their pit that they're taken out of, but they also had to finish where that hole was cut through the levee. They couldn't go right across, they had to make a little levee around the deep part. And so they've got the form is back under control. Again, that's under the pit. And again, I was just showing you, again, we were at the corner right here looking in the north side way. That's where you saw that extension, which is eventually going to come over here and meet up with the levee. That's a long ran by. So what that does now, when that goes across, now you have continuous protection all the way through for any water coming through here. So the same storm, what it did, might have had less water. That water that went into the inner coast and caused the problems in the north of the roads, you'll probably see some reduction. I mean, that's what it's there for. So not cause more bumps in the road for the storm surge to come up. So it's going to help everybody, not just Bush and Tampa, what's going on here. All right. That's all I have right now. And we'll get the slides when the engineers go. In section F, we begin trying to look at raising the berm because we always have a little bit of concern. It's held up pretty well. I've been working with Neil, and I was talking to the state. It looks like we were going to have the money that we had allocated for F. Think about if we could use as little as possible there and try to send it to section E, knowing that we had the overtime. Okay, there's no money there. But state saying, because of the way their contracts are put together, they want to go ahead and do the money for E North and transfer the money from E North to F. So the bottom line is going to be the same amount of money, it's just the direction that they want to do it. I just wanted to inform you that that's what they're talking about. Then the Sixth Amendment for the audit services, this is something that we had to, the cost escalated from $8,506 to $14,000, but it's because we had so much emergency federal money coming in, we had to do a special audit, and that was ordered by the state. We had no choice. So we need for y'all to approve this Sixth Amendment for the audit.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of our general manager to approve and accept the Sixth Amendment audit. Moved by Mr. Ronald, second by Roland Curol. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing, our legislator, Georgia, sent a list of the audits that the audit, legislative audit gives grades, and we saw that we made an A, okay? Now I thought, okay, give everybody an A, but some people had C's, so it's a congratulations to y'all passing the resolutions, doing it the right way, and Amy and Mary, gotta thank them to make sure, keeping track of all those details. I'm telling you, it's been crazy with the federal money coming in from Organza that we're paying and we pay back. And it really was a complicated thing, and they fought through it the whole time and did a fantastic job.
Good job, girls.
Yeah, absolutely,
Ladies.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Big raise, big raise. Yeah. Big raise to stay even. That's all this number is. Okay, pre-positioning contracts. We checked with also about possibly advertising to get some pre-position, which a lot of people do with the pre-contracts, because when the storm hit, you know, you had, I think it was 60 days of 100% federal money. But we had to get a contract, we had to figure out the best contractor and get the work started. That all cost some time for us, and we might have lost out on some money out there. So by pre-positioning this contract, storm hits right away, you can go out there and get employed.
Yeah.
But we also have a local contractor that wanted to get involved in that, and we met with him one time, we were able to get. So I would suggest that y'all, after the resolution, allow Keith to make a decision on how to handle either awarding or not awarding this low bid estimate for the prepositioning contract.
Motion. Okay, for the recommendation of our general manager, allow me to sign the contract and whatever we determine. Moved by Mr. Roland Guidry, seconded by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, D North Ramp, we've been trying to get that job done, and we did get some bids, and we'll have GIS talk about that. But when they come up, they can talk about it in past resolutions at that time. But it's, I just urge that we do move forward with it, that we try as hard as we could to reduce the price, and it's still gonna cost us a bit, but a little bit less than last time. John, you have anything to add right now?
We'll talk about it in our report.
Okay. Archie talked about the golden meadow habitat restoration and site assessment. If you look in the packet, there's a letter since the parish is the lead agency on it. We're paying the money to do the preliminary engineering. We wrote a letter of support, and we also got, I think, the mayor of Golden Meadow got a letter of support. We think this could be, again, something special for our people, adding on to the work park that's already there. Capital outlay request, we're asking for 10.2 million. We have support of our senator and rep, and we'll be doing most of that work in the southern part of the system. We've been working our way up along the sides, and now we've done and improved that tremendously. We think we need to go back to the A west and A east, basically starting in the lot on either side and getting at least 17 feet if we can afford to, if we can afford to go to 18 feet. And so that's the basis of that request. And I've already had a support of the board for this. We have a vote.
Yes. For the capital outlay?
Yeah, okay, all right. We also, with the engineers, put together a letter for a request for $48 million to do all the extra work it takes to get the levee, considering all the loss of the marsh around us and responding to that. And so that has been sent into CPRA. So we'll see how that goes. If we get one or the other, of course, we can reduce the other costs involved. But that's something we're looking to get done if possible. Lease renewal on levee board property. What's it, lease last week? Block, yeah. We have some of the property to the east of us, and the storm has knocked down a lot of the marsh. It was a hunting lease, basically turned into fishing lease, and now they've turned into the Gulf of Mexico. So we're having a lot that's not being renewed. We see there's one piece of property that we're getting a quote on. We just need a motion allowing Lee Block to move forward with the lease that he approves, the lease bids that he approves.
All right, we've heard the recommendation of the general manager to allow them to negotiate. Moved by Mr. Ronald, second by Roland Curo. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
not on the agenda, but just something that, you know, we've got the levee pretty much back in shape, but we want to make it better. We've been working on smoothing out, you know, grass cutters know where all the bumps are. Well, when you get a rough place, of course, it works on the equipment, because more damage, so we're looking at getting a smoother level, but also when water hits it, if you have a smooth surface, you have equal pressure everywhere. You have a little divot, gets a little more energy, and that's where it starts to cut, and that's when you start losing it. So not only is it going to make it better for our equipment, but it's just a step we never taken before. But we're at that point now, we can make the levee better just by taking better care of the shape of the same right now. So we're moving on that, and I think by next spring we will have the best situation for maintenance on our levees and pump stations that we've had since the beginning. You know, it's really things that, it's amazing to me, after what that storm did, all the debris that was put on there, getting the debris off, all the damage that we had, got it repaired, that we can be in that position next year, but it looks, it's really encouraging. We just need to keep on adding a little more height and making those small improvements.
How do you anticipate removing those roads and smoothing it out?
Oh, no, we're just gonna go out with some bulldozers and some choppers and just
Just
get
work
those
those areas
spots.
dead, not all they need.
No, it's just a matter of taking care of, you know, with some equipment, we can just reshape it. That's what's nice about it. It's still dirt, okay? It's not steel, it's not concrete. It's pretty easy to, that's why you don't have to be that detailed. It's one of the problems I think with some people. They engineer dirt like they do concrete and steel. It's a different ballgame. Dirt is malleable, but that costs a lot of money. You want to mess around with concrete and steel, that costs you a lot of money if you want to reshape it. But for the levee, it's not.
You
So
just want it manicured.
we're just gonna go where
In the
our
bad
guys
spots.
are bumping hard, you're gonna get
Guys,
the chopper, get it down for the bulldozer, and just reseed it, and again, that's something that we're doing that's been a little bit different. Yeah, and there's just certain places that, no, most of the levees are in great shape, some other places you have some bumps, but that's where you break your equipment, that's where you have extra problems, but also for just flood protection. The smoother you have your levee, the better. That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, moving on to engineering report, CPRA then.
No updates for today.
I'm sorry?
No updates for today.
Corps of Engineers, project engineer, PCO Associates, Mark?
Mark PCO and Associates. First project is the LaRose lot. The plans and specifications are complete, and we have submitted that to the U.S. Corps of Engineers and CPRA for review. Next project is section E North levee improvement, southeast corner to northeast. We have completed the 95% set of plans. We have submitted those to CPRA for approval. The geotechnical work has started, and the proposed levee elevation is +14. Next project is section E North levee erosion repairs. Compost and Sons Construction LLC is the contractor. They have completed the work. The proposed levee elevation is a +14, and the contractor has submitted a pay application number 1 in the amount of $12,920.00, and we recommend approval.
Okay. Heard the recommendation of our engineer to pay Campo and Son pay request number 1 in the amount of $12,920. Moved by Mitch, seconded by Mac. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The next project is the Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the pump stations and floodgates. Grand Isle Shipyard is the contractor. The contractor is complete with all the structural metal work. They're currently working on the electrical components of the pump stations. The contractor is receiving the long lead items for the electrical components and should begin making significant progress in the upcoming month. There's no pay application for this month. The next project is the Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the main office. We received bids on November 9th at 10 a.m. We received 2 bids, and Grand Isle Shipyard LLC was a low bidder in the amount of $460,000.00, and we recommend approval.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the engineer to accept the low bid from Grand Isle Shipyard for our main office repair. Moved by Monty, second by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Next project is Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the mechanic shop. Frisco Industries Contractor LLC is the contractor. The notice to proceed was issued on May 31st. All the work has been completed. The contractor is currently working on minor punch list items. The contractor has submitted pay application number 5 in the amount of $8,584.31, and we recommend approval.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the engineer to pay Frisco, repairs and mechanic shop, pay request number 5 in the amount of $8,584.31. Moved by Brian, second by Brett. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the warehouse. A low bid received for the replacement of one overhead door and repair of one overhead door was Grand Isle Shipyard LLC in the amount of $24,731.00. They ordered the door and are expecting to receive and install it in the month of December. Next project is A West Corner Elevation. Compost and Sons Construction LLC is the contractor. They are complete with the work. The proposed elevation of the levee is plus 20. The contractor submitted the pay app number 4 in the amount of $21,165.00, and we recommend approval.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the request of engineer to pay Compo and Sons, pay request number 4 in the amount of $21,165. Moved by Roland Curall, second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And the final project is Section D North Levee. We received bids on November 10th at 10 a.m. The proposed elevation of the top of the levee is a plus 16. We received 2 bids. Outer Limits LLC was the low bidder in the amount of $229,000.00, and we recommend approval.
What was the name of it?
Okay, gentlemen, you heard the recommendation of our engineer to accept the low bid from Outer Limits for $229,000. Moved by Lonnie, second by Matt. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. That's it, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. GIS, John or Laura?
Well, it's my turn this month. The first project we have in front of y'all is the 80s water retention off of Bayou Lafourche. As y'all can see here, that red area on the picture is the area we're talking about retaining water in. So when the floodgates are closed on either end, what will happen is instead of having to control the water in the bayou plus that, you'd only have to control the water in the bayou. And I know that seems like a small area, but that red area is about as much as the entire bayou itself, between the LaRose and Golden Dam floodgates.
So basically, you're cutting it in half.
So basically cutting the amount of area you have to control in half, which will give you a much better control over the water levels in the bayou at that point. We've had some permitting issues, some servitude issues, but we're working through that. The last year or so, I've been telling you, it's kind of been on Wendell's back burner for a while, but now he's asking to push it up a little bit, so we'll hopefully be able to bid sometime early next year on that project.
Yeah, what we're trying to do, John, you know, we're still looking at, we just talked about doing the 80s, getting that up to a minimum of 17 and hopefully 18, and do the same thing on the Golden Meadow side. But what I'm looking at is trying to do the 80s work and tie it in and time it the same with the retention pond. Okay, so as that moves forward, I want to kind of get together,
Okay.
making the money work out, again, it's the bottom line.
When will you point out where Yankee Canal is and when that
That's just for the Bank Canal going through. Yeah, just I'll show, this is where the rocks were, that picture for the rock. That was that area here. And the pump station right here.
And that's pump station 4, and then the flood wall we just finished, which is coming up next, is right at the top of the page.
And what are we gonna do in that inside along by it? What is that?
Oh, it's just raising a consistent 3 feet.
Just we're gonna grade?
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting a consistent separation between that water, and we'll have 2 water control structures on either end, and leave it open when everything's normal.
What's the elevation now?
With just dirt? Just
The
dirt?
elevation typically right now is about a +1. It was +3 at one point in our lifetime. We have the ridge long by Lafourche, and we're going along an old ridge, kind of perpendicular by Lafourche as well. Both of those were +3, but they have settled over time to about a +1. There's some gaps we have to cross.
We had a problem one time about some property owner not
We're
wanting
going
us to.
around them.
Has that been taken care of?
We're going around them.
You better all.
That project?
Well, I know we applied for this permit in 2008, and I think we've been working on it since 2004.
Well, again, we had tremendous permit problems at first, and then seeing what the storms are doing, we had to kind of push the cost back a little bit. Finally got the permit, fought through it, and it's just we had these other things in line first, and now it seems like we're at the point we can maybe make it all work together.
Okay, moving on to the D-South flood wall improvements. Phase 1 is complete, the Hurricane Ida repair items are complete. You can, this is basically both phases 1 and 2. 1 were the wings and 2 is the middle section that you can see realistically in the middle of the picture. That project is complete. On the agenda is to pay sea level the final pay app number 7. Polluter lien certificate has been submitted, so we recommend payment of the retainage in the amount of $114,083.
And John, to add to that, again, this is the area called Golden Meadow Farms. People were actually formed in this area around 1900.
It's aquafarming now.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe some more.
Right, we actually have a better picture looking toward the north, but I thought this would make more of an impact looking south. To see all that water out there.
We know the impact. Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to pay sea level, final pay application number 7, amount $114,083. Moved by Mac, second by Brett, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, moving on to the D North ramp, this is at Loop. We took bids on October 25th. The low bidder was Louisiana LA Contracting in the amount of $692,710. So we do recommend that you award that construction contract in that amount. Some of the contract includes some materials that we are providing to the landowner in lieu of a retainage, in lieu of a servitude payment. We will actually probably be backing this out of this contract because it was a pretty high amount on that. And we're going to get it from that pit right there for hopefully a much lower cost. So we expect this 692 to go down by somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000 before when the project's finished. But right now we're asking that you award that contract, the LA Contracting, in the amount of $692,710.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to award LA Contracting Enterprises, this project at D North, in the amount of $692,710. Moved by Rowan Guidry, second by Monty, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
And we're proposing to bring that up to a +16. We'll get it a little higher if we can. We also have an amendment on this project. Amendment number 6 for us. Amendment number 6 for us for engineering services, which is basically the resident project representative and a few other items on it. For your approval.
We need to approve.
Oh, Nick.
The number?
What are the figures?
So it's $120,000 in RPR and $15,000 for the Davis-Bacon wage rates.
Ew, so nothing's.
No, wasn't a gimme. See, once you like Mark, you want it all.
Yeah, they just build it in the beginning. Because this is a time and materials thing, so if we don't need it, we're not
We have a motion by Mr. Ronald to accept this, second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, moving on, the reconnection of Breton Canal to Bayou Lafourche. This is gonna be some siphons right in front, right below South Lafourche High School. We are currently advertising for that project. We'll be taking bids the first week of December, and hopefully have that in time for y'all December meeting.
Now, where is the, I know they have the bridge there.
It's right at the bridge,
It's gonna
so
be
just east of the bridge.
Inside the bridge.
inside the bridge.
Right, about 100 feet east of the bridge. Y'all have a levee there now, a dam there now, and it'll be right over that dam.
And it'll be a twin to what we have at pump station itself. I mean, the side.
And that's gonna be concrete, concrete?
No steel,
No,
it'll be steel
it's
pipe.
just like the cyclone we have
Okay.
in the seven. It's just two pipes going over that closure that we have.
Right.
And we're gonna have to do some work on the canal, which we're gonna try to do our equipment to use. But, Ron, we're gonna need to have that water where we, locked up, so we can have it pursued.
John, I have to compliment you on the slide presentation of these, all of the engineers should seriously look at doing this. We're more aware of what you're talking about now. Sometimes it's just words and figures and jumble, we really don't know where you're working at, but by showing this and maybe get a pointer to be able to point out exactly what you're looking at.
I'm gonna give credit where credit's due, that's Mary and
Well, it's-
Wendell that asked for that, so
It's
she
a great
provided.
idea. Another thing,
But let's not give it when Roland said, let's do that. So we said.
another thing
okay,
we
can
should
do
do
that.
too, is when you're giving your slide presentation and you're talking about this, A, B, policy, sometimes I've been on the board for 40-something years and I get confused with where you're talking about it. If you could have maybe another one up there to show us exactly what you're looking at. Yeah, similar to what we got here, if you have to put up another one, that's what they're doing now. Yeah, you can.
I mean, you don't know your ABCs?
Yeah, after all those years, you get confused with what you're talking about.
Let's make sure with amendment number 6 that John Bodge is on the pointer.
By bringing your own stuff. That's how you do it.
Yes, sir.
I want to compliment whoever it is. That's a great idea.
All right, that's it, thank you, John. Neil, I'd like to see over.
No, give them money.
Okay, on the Sea-South levee reshaping and compaction, that contract is, I'm sorry, this is one out of order. Sea-North levee improvements. That's Compo and Sons, they're continuing to work on shaping that levee up to +16. We're recommending approval of their invoice number 1089 in the amount of $27,090.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of our engineer to pay Compo and Sons invoice 1089, amount of $27,090. Moved by Monty, second by Roland Curall, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Other way.
We don't have one.
All right, on the Sea-North levee improvements, this is the flood side repairs. We have two contractors working on this, it's Compo and Sons and Grand Isle Shipyard. This is some of the debris removal on the levee flood side tour that Wendell had showed earlier. The work's going real well. We think the initial effort of removing that debris is going to be done in the next 2 weeks, and then we'll start looking into the next phase of potentially putting some new dirt back out on the flood side tour. We do have a pay request from Compo and Sons, number 1090, in the amount of $7,375, and we're recommending approving that.
All right, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to pay Compo and Sons invoice number 1090 in the amount of $7,375. Moved by Mac, second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, on the Yankee Canal and section A East erosion repair, this is some of the slides one that I showed earlier. We've got about a third of the project done now with placing riprap on the south side of the Yankee Canal levee bank. Grand Isle Shipyard did have some issues getting some barge material down with the low river levels, but I spoke to them today. They do have another barge in, so they expect that progress is going to continue on with the project without much delay now. We do have their first peer request in the amount of $392,426.74, and we recommend approval of that.
First? Okay, 1/3, yeah. Okay, heard the recommendation of engineer to pay GIS, pay request number 1, $392,426.74. And a motion by Mr. Ronald, second by Brad, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, the next project is the LaRose flood wall vessel impact barrier. This is along the intracoastal. This is the LaRose flood wall. Right now, we're currently finalizing the permit phase. We have all the permits for the project. The CPRA is reviewing the project right now, and we estimate we'll begin advertising later this month. What we'll be doing here is placing a series of wooden mooring dolphins, but it's not for mooring, it's for timber. For power clusters. Just a typical timber power clusters like you've seen up and down the bayou for years. We're going to have them spaced, some larger power clusters every so often and smaller ones in between to try and prevent any impacts to the wall during a storm. If any barges or dry docks get loose. I think we've had a few of those incidents happen in the past. Fortunately, no damage to the wall, but we certainly could have some catastrophic flooding just from
It's
one
also
little
an
area.
agreement to the Corps. The Corps said that one of the objections they had to building the wall was that there's new rules that if they do some levee work near a waterway, you have to put foreshore protection. Well, they put rocks on the upper part, but because the land goes down so much, the amount of rocks you would need to go up the water would be so much, it would destabilize the project. So we had to come up with another method. That's what Neil and all came up with, this power cluster stuff. It's not perfect, but it's going to improve the chance of protecting. But that was the deal we said. They would give us a permit. They said, but you've got to work on protecting it while following our rules. So that's why we do this.
Put some cameras on the wall because the pilings are gonna be pulled off every morning there. Why they need that, so get ready.
No, it's okay. As long as they can pay for repair.
I know, but buy a camera, but it's, you're gonna wake up and you say, all the pilings are going and nobody is. So, push that active.
And also we have the Section F berm project. This is just a photograph of the inside of Section F. This project is currently being reviewed by the CPRA to do some additional berm improvements on the Section F levee. Barring anything major from CPRA, we think we'll be ready to advertise this month. And lastly, I don't know if the slide made it up there, Mary, the Sea-South levee. Okay, so the Sea-South levee reshaping, this is a reshaping of the levee up to +18 from the Basalt Pump Station all the way up to Apache Farm. Grand Isle Shipyard's been working on that project for a while. Work is progressing well to get that levee up to +18. We do have their pay app number 17 in the amount of $59,559.30, and we recommend approval of that pay app.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to pay Grand Isle Shipyard, that's it, yes. Levee reshaping on Sea-South. Invoice number 17, total $59,559.30. Moved by Mac, second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have.
Okay, anybody from Delta Coast? Also, report.
All right, my name is Jeremy Perkins with All South Consulting Engineers. The first project that we have is the Golden Meadow Marsh Terrace project. We met with Mr. Kirol to discuss project details, to He advised us to revise the plans to include one terrace, and also to use the remaining borrowed material to create a marsh between the terrace and the existing levee. And so currently, we're revising our plans and determining quantities to construct the terrace to a +3 elevation, and also determining the available material that will be remaining. Next project would be the Reach Cape Terrace project. All South is preparing a request to FEMA to move the terrace to a new location. Currently, they're on the east side. They were constructed in poor soil conditions, and so we're requesting to move the project over to the west side of Pontchartrain Ridge.
You talking about coming behind where the people live?
Yes, sir.
Pontchartrain? Yeah, again, this is part of organic development. We were involved in getting these in place, so this is finishing up that job. But we've been slowly getting out of those projects and terrible ones we take over. This is finishing up what we've done in the past.
And the last item that I have is the Hurricane Ida response. We have 2 invoices submitted for your approval. One is in the amount of $37,325.40, and the second one is for the final retainage in the amount of $320,510. Sorry about that.
No, and we received payment today from Dynamic for the fire, so we're gonna pay the full amount.
We have to do them individually.
Yes.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation, engineer, to pay Dynamic invoice 2021754-09 in the amount of $37,325.40. Moved by Monty, second by Mitch, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. And the next one is paying Dynamic, the final total payment of $302,657.65.
$320,510.
Oh,
Control on invoice, and there's a payment recommendation amount of 302.
Yeah, because at the time, Dynamic was supposed to send us payment for the fire damage at Pump Station 4, and we hadn't received it yet. We just received it right before the meeting.
okay.
So we have to pay it, so it's $320.
Okay, so the amount of $320,500.10. Motion by Matt, second by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That's it, Joe?
That's all I have, sir.
All right, legal permits right away. Mitch?
We got 3 for this month. The first one is Rosefield Pipeline. The second one is graded Lafourche Port Commission. The third is Lafourche Parish Government. After reviewing these 3, look at the board to approve these 3 permits.
Should we allow Lafourche Parish Government?
I don't know. Close the door meeting.
I get paid the same either way, Mr. President.
Easy. I don't want more money.
I've heard the recommendation of our chairman of the right-of-ways committee to accept the permits. Moved by Monty, second by Mr. Ronald, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Board attorney. Any,
I'm gonna go with Ray on approval of those right-of-ways, but other than that.
okay. Finance committee?
Mr. President, Finance Committee met and reviewed all invoices and recommended it be paid as approved.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of finance committee chairman to approve and pay all invoices. Moved by Mac, second by Roland Curall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Any old business? Any old business? Any new business?
One. Yeah, Thanksgiving. You can catch off breath and we get out of hurricane this year. That we gotta be thankful.
You're right.
need for executive session. Okay. Take a motion, move. Moved by Monty, second by Michael, we adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?